Rimfire's latest diamond drilling program at the Bald Hill cobalt copper prospect was really aimed at better understanding the geology. We drilled a couple of holes last year, and we were able to return some really nice broad high grade copper in sulfide intercepts. And so what we were doing was we drilled 5 holes. It was a step out program. So we sited our holes this year between 1 to 300 meters away from existing intersections. And the aim, as I say, was to build upon our geological understanding of the prospect. We're dealing with a relatively complex sequence of folded sulfide-bearing sedimentary packages, and there's a couple of faults and folds. So it was about understanding the geology. We also had some really strong magnetic anomalies that we had generated from a detailed ground magnetic survey about 6 months ago. And so the drilling was also aimed at understanding the significance of those magnetic anomalies. And so what the drilling has shown us, and obviously we've still got results coming in, is that we've been able to, get the extra information required to build what will be a very robust 3-dimensional geological model. We've got a pretty good handle on the folding and the orientation of the faulting. We understand that the magnetic responses are picking up magnetic sulfide, so magnetite and pyrrhotite, and the pyrrhotite has got cobalt associated with it. So we believe that the magnetics will lead us into high-grade positions, mineralized positions. We've also been able to now demonstrate that the mineralization is present over an area of approximately 500 by 200 meters, and importantly, it remains open in all directions. We're also, as we'll touch upon, we're now starting to see some consistent copper coming into the system as well. So, results from the first hole, there's another 4 holes to go, but we're really learning a lot of key things about the geology and the upside for Bald Hill going forward. Firstly, in terms of the grades, there are two other key cobalt and sulfide deposits in the Broken Hill area. So if you look at Cobalt Blue's cobalt project, which is located 10 kilometers to the south, their resource grade is 0.07% cobalt. We're typically drilling anywhere between 0.15% to about 0.2%. So in terms of Cobalt Blue, we're 2 to 3 times higher grade. The other deposit in the area, about 35 kilometers to the southwest, is Havilar's Mutooroo cobalt copper gold project. Their resource grade on their cobalt is about 0.16%. It's a similar style of geology. They also have the copper and the gold there as well. So much higher grade than Cobalt Blue. We're equivalent grades with the Havilar Mutooroo deposit. And there are a number of other historic cobalt deposits in the area. And we are consistently with our drilling at Broken Hill, we're equivalent to the highest grade cobalt deposits and clearly much higher grade than the Cobalt Blue deposit. So, I'm very comfortable with saying that the Bald Hill prospect sits certainly at the upper end of the grade range for cobalt and sulfide deposits in the Broken Hill area. In terms of the copper, I mentioned Mutooroo. They're having some really interesting success now, starting to understand and define an additional copper position at Mutooroo. It's in roughly the same geology as Bald Hill, and that gives us hope that if we keep looking, we will find the copper at Bald Hill as well. And the significance of these most recent results is in this latest hole that we announced the results for today, 2612. It's the first time that we have seen broad zones of strongly anomalous copper intimately associated with the cobalt. Previously, we have seen copper at the surface in rock chips, and we have seen copper in the weathered horizon of the cobalt mineralization. So we've seen copper gossans in drilling. We have never seen strongly elevated copper within the fresh sulfides at depth. And in the hole we announced the results of today, we're seeing that. So what we think we're developing here is a good support for a broader copper story at Bald Hill. And I think importantly, today's results are starting to give us ideas of geochemical vectors to where a hopefully significant accumulation of copper occurs. So, the cobalt is pleasing, the high-grade nature is pleasing, but starting to see this consistent occurrence of copper is potentially really significant for this prospect. This is really fascinating. So exploration, there is an exploration and mining renaissance underway in the whole Broken Hill district. There have been a number of corporate transactions that have just dropped in the last, literally in the last week or two, certainly over the last few months. We now have South 32 in a joint venture with a local private company. South 32 are exploring for base metals right up to and adjoining the northern and northeastern portion of our project at Broken Hill. And then on the other side, on the northwestern side of our Bald Hill prospect, we've got Red Hill Minerals, who have just farmed in a $6.5 million joint venture, I think it was, have just farmed into some ground held by Peel, and they're now looking on our northwestern flank. So in addition to other deals where we've seen a change of ownership of the old historic Rasp mine in the middle of Broken Hill and the Pinnacles mine, also there's a Japanese firm that's now moved into the Mutooroo deposit as well. So as I say, there is this real sense of renaissance, of rebirth with exploration mining with the whole Broken Hill district. And we don't doubt the historical endowment of Broken Hill. It's fabulous. The Line of the Lode is one of the world's class ore bodies that exist. But the whole area has been going very quiet for a number of years. And so these recent developments, as I say, it signals this rebirth. And when you look at Rimfire's ground, we are positioned right smack bang in the middle of all of these new activities. We're starting to talk and meet some of our new neighbours. And I think for Rimfire shareholders, this is really exciting. These are companies that are coming in, they recognise the exploration potential, they recognise that very little work has been done for many years, and I'm sure that we're going to see, increased excitement, a lot of new activity and news flow coming out of Broken Hill. And as I say, Rimfire's ground is in the middle of all of this. And in terms of what Rimfire shareholders can expect from our Broken Hill project itself, well, we have the balance of the diamond drill hole results. So we drilled 5 holes. We announced the first results today. We've got 4 more holes to go. We certainly know that the sulfide mineralization that was intersected in the remaining 4 holes, visually, it looks identical, very similar to what we've released the results for today. So I'm very confident that we're going to have more really significant, encouraging cobalt and copper results to come. And then on the back of all of these drill results, you will see the development of a 3D geological model, which will really highlight the upside and also the extensional potential to Bald Hill. And on top of all of that, we will continue our regional target generation exercise. We know that we have outside of Bald Hill, we have a number of existing cobalt sulfide drill intercepts that we want to follow up. We have some copper targets that we've generated, and we also have some interesting rare earth positions as well. So situated in the middle of this rebirth for Broken Hill, more diamond drilling, geological models, and a lot more targets to come out of target generation exercises.